Now, with Donald Trump at his lowest approval rating yet, and progressive challengers making headways in some southern states, for example, Alabama, 2018 looks like it could be a slam dunk for the Democrats. In fact, they've got a new plan to try and win back the Senate. Well, what is that plan? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to do the same thing they did in 2016. Oh, boy. So this new plan, which is the same as the old plan, is detailed in an article in Politico. They write that with the Republican Senate primaries from West Virginia to Montana promising to pit Trump-inspired insurgents against more mainstream candidates, establishment, Democrats are considering ways to step in and wreak some havoc. This is my words. This is their words. Now, their idea, they said, is to, quote, elevate the GOP's most extreme option in each race, easing Democrats' path to victory in a range of states tilted against them. Oh, look, everybody. It's the same strategy we used in 2016 and lost, and we're going to use it again because it worked so very, very well. Holy crap. That is so, oh my God. It's like they don't even understand why they lost. Oh, they think, no, it's Russia. We lost because of Russia, and we lost because of the damn Bernie bros. Let's keep doing the same thing we did over and over again. Play identity politics, and we'll run super negative ads based on personality issues, and we're going to win. I haven't even gotten to that part, so I'm going to detail their strategy here. But first, they say that, quote, at its most aggressive, the tactic could be a sequel to Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill's 2012 campaign against then GOP Representative Todd Akin in Missouri. She actively intervened in Republican primary with ads designed to boost the conservative Akin to the front of the pack. Once he became the nominee, a series of gaffes, led by his legitimate rape comment and hardline positions, unraveled his campaign. All right, so here's the problem, right? So that was 2012. I understand that was a while ago, right? Now, since then, we have seen an even more extreme GOP base, okay? And not only that, but we've seen an even more turned off Democratic electorate who won't turn out for conservative establishment Democrats. Again, we've seen this before. Not only that, but look, to be honest, you've got a lot of voter suppression in places as well. So even if a little bit more people showed up, well, this voter suppression is going to make sure that a lot of these votes don't count. As far as Republicans go, they always turn out in pretty impressive numbers. And for a non-establishment GOP candidate, something tells me that they will actually turn out even more for that candidate. Now, first, let's go back to the piece. Now, they said that the Democrats are exploring states, including Arizona, where Kelly Ward, a challenger to Jeff Flake, said Senator John McCain should vacate his seat as quickly as possible after his brain cancer diagnosis. Ha ha, John McCain should die from the brain cancer and vacate his seat. Right? That's terrible. That's horrible. Even if you disagree with almost everything John McCain has done. And I'm one of those people, I still don't want to see the guy die from brain cancer. That's horrible. I mean, can we actually be civil human beings in politics? Apparently, we're not allowed. But anyway. Now, they're also looking at Nevada, where frequent candidate Danny Tarkanian, who once mused about pretending we're black, referring to his African-American opponent, is running against Senator Dean Heller. They're also eyeing Ohio, where Josh Mandel, the state treasurer and two-time challenger to Senator Sherrod Brown, this summer called the Anti-Defamation League, quote, a partisan witch hunt group, while affirming his support for alt-right bloggers and conspiracy theorists Mike Cernovich and Jack Posobiec, which I've had a little tiff on Twitter with before, so I'm quite aware of that guy. Now, so basically their plan is, hey man, let's take all these people and elevate these extreme right-wingers, right? Let's just give them a platform, we'll run some ads, put them ahead of the pack. What could go wrong? Oh, right, Donald Trump. But look, it's not just him, right? I actually have a concrete example of where, even though the Democrats did not interfere in this race, that it still went to the more extreme GOP candidate. Now, this is a recent race between Roy Moore and Luther Strange. Now, Roy Moore is your more extreme candidate, okay? Now, let me give you an example of just a couple of the things he said. He said that Native American and Asian Americans are just reds and yellows, like we're all Skittles or something, while repeatedly claiming parts of the United States are under Sharia law. Sharia law. No, this man is Looney Tunes, and guess what? He beat the establishment Republican. Now, if the Democrats put up an establishment candidate that is nothing more than Republican light, as they love to do, well, do you think he's got a good chance at winning? Not in Alabama. Now, not only that, but look, we have some precedent for this. Look at the last election, right? Look at the election in Georgia between John Ossoff and Karen Handel. Now, John Ossoff ran as an incredibly milquetoast establishment Democrat. He didn't really run on anything, no change, and basically was like, look at Karen Handel, terrible person. Now, Handel, she ran as a lunatic that backed many of Donald Trump's proposals. It was like, oh yeah, build a wall. Totally, build a wall. Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of that. Yeah, tax cuts for the rich, love it. Backed a lot of Trump's proposals. So, oh, look at that. She won. And yet Democrats, they're still going to go with this strategy, and they're not messing around. Operatives have started compiling lists of the GOP's hopefuls' more outrageous statements and positions while combing through the daily news clips for hints of further themes to pursue against them. They're also the challenge for Democrats for figuring out whether traditional controversies still spark outrage in the age of Donald Trump. Well, I have an answer for you. They don't. For one, look at our president, right? Our president, during the campaign, caught on tape saying, oh, I love grabbing women by the genitals. That right there, that alone. Okay, so consider one of the reasons that Romney, at least with the mainstream press, said that Romney had lost. When he made the 47% comment. When he said 47% of the electorate were lazy moochers, right? That was outrageous in 2012. Outrageous. Immediately, that was the moment Romney had lost. Gone. And fast forward to 2016. And here's President Trump saying, yeah, I grabbed a woman by the pussy. What are you going to do about it? And you know what? They like it. And you know what happened? Women started coming out with shirts saying, well, you can grab mine, with an arrow pointing down. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. Democrats, get your head out of your ass. Okay? You've got to adapt to the new kind of politics. And it's not doing the same old things that you did before. And of course, what should they do? What should they do? Run on something. Just run on something. Stop talking about how bad the other person is. And actually stand for something. Look, if you continue running as, hey man, at least we're not those guys. And yes, that was actually one of their slogans. Hey, we're not the other guys. You're going to lose. You keep running on that. It's a bad strategy, okay? It is not a solid strategy, but it seems like it's all they've got. And again, it no longer works, okay? And look, doing character attacks and running negative ads, it's incredibly unpopular, right? You know what people want? People actually want policy. They want discussions on policy. Now, these, establishment, the politicians and the, the consultant class, the political operatives, oh, no, they don't want you talking about policy. No. What they want is negative character attack ads. Have you ever seen a poll in your life? No, they don't want that. What they actually want is people to go out and people to talk about how, hey man, we know it sucks out there. Guess what? We actually have plans. Here's my plan. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to pay for it. Bernie Sanders gave the same stump speech 1 billion times during the primary. And guess what? People always showed up. He actually had enormous rallies, again, where he talked about the same thing. He talked about specifics and policy and how we're going to do things and what the vision for America was. That's why people liked him. not because he's not this or that. That's what you have to do as a politician. And whether or not you agree with Bernie Sanders or not, you still want to hear about, okay, what's your plan? What are you going to do for America? How are you going to help me? Somebody who's in the middle class or somebody who's poor. How are you going to help us? Regular person. I go to work 9 to 5. How's your plan going to help me? That's what people want to know, man. And look, as far as negative campaigning, and this is an interesting fact, it doesn't get reported enough, but Trump actually ran more ads on policy than he did on attacks against Hillary Clinton. That is amazing. You think, no way. But it's true. He actually ran more substantive policy ads. It doesn't mean his policies are great. His policies are awful. But he actually paid more attention. And he said, well, you want change? Here's the kind of change I want to bring. Terrible change, but at least it's change. Now, what Clinton did is because of her hubris, she was like, no, let's just run a bunch of negative character ads, calling him mean and terrible. Which, look, he is a sexist, he is a racist, he's misogynistic, okay? But, okay, we know that already. Tell me what you're going to do. We don't care about all that stuff. Surprisingly enough, there's a lot of Americans out there that are like, yeah, I don't care about the personal stuff. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for America? That's what people care about. They care about policy, okay? So, look, that's the problem that they have, okay? Now, the article, of course, tries to make the point that, no, look, we know it didn't work in 2016. It'll work this time, though. It'll work this time. This time will be easier. In fact, I said, Republicans are in an increasingly public, multi-front civil war, and Trump's base is openly fed up with its own party's congressional leadership, with support for McConnell as Republican Senate leader emerging as a primary issue. Greenberg called his unpopularity figures among Republican voters as, quote, way behind anything I've ever seen. Now, but look, let me point something out that's really important. So those figures that the Republican base is rebelling against, that's part of the establishment. That is the establishment wing of the Republican Party. Okay, look, the Republican Party, they never liked Mitch McConnell. I mean, look, they kept voting for him anyway over Democrat because every time he's been put up against an establishment Republican-like Democrat. Allison Lundergan Grimes. This is somebody who's like, oh, I refuse to answer whether or not I supported Barack Obama during the campaign, during 2012. Or, you know what? I love Cole. Cole is so awesome. That's Allison Lundergan Grimes. She ran on that, okay? And she got crushed by McConnell. And this is a guy that has an 18% approval rating in his home state. Yet he keeps winning. Why? Because they're not going to vote for a Democrat. They're always going to vote for Team Republican, especially if you are running somebody who's an establishment figure. They do not like the establishment. And look, there's a lot of division in this country. There's a lot of people who play team, team politics, okay? Party politics. I will only vote for somebody with a D next to her name or his name. I will only vote for somebody with an R next to their name. But those two things, those two parties are actually small, and you have a lot of people who are independent who actually care about actual policy. Those are the people that don't get involved in these elections. Those are the people that stay home during the midterms. And those are the people that you actually have to reach out to. Hey, do you give a shit about policy? Well, great. We've got somebody here who actually wants to talk about policy instead of playing the stupid D versus R game that we always do. Now, again, people, sadly, I think a lot of the Republicans will still end up voting for Mitch McConnell, despite how unpopular he is. And that's sad. And again, here, let me point out the case. Let me go back to Roy Moore for a minute here and try to make this case as well, that he could actually win against an establishment Democrat. Both the Democrat Senate campaign wing and the Democratic National Committee have recently sent staffers to the Alabama race, where two separate polls within the last week have now described the race as a single-digit margin contest between Moore and former U.S. Attorney Doug Jones. And other national Democratic figures have started paying more attention. Now, in this case, I mentioned that the Democrats didn't elevate Moore. Moore, the more extreme candidate, beat the establishment Republican, Luther Strange. Now, Trump, interestingly enough, had endorsed Luther Strange. Did that make a difference? No, not at all. People still voted against the Republican establishment. Okay? So the point that I'm trying to make here is that if, like I said, they'll vote for an outsider, non-establishment Republican, and you put that person against an establishment Democrat, somebody who's not really running on anything, but is using the same strategy of, oh, Roy Moore, look at him. He's so crazy. Yeah, okay, we know that, but what are you going to do for us? How do we know you're actually going to help us? You run that old same strategy from 2016, and you're going to get that same result. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Well, I guess number one, I hope they don't do this strategy. But number two, if they decide to, then I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope the Republicans get crushed. I don't know. I do want the Republicans to lose in 2018. You know, so we can actually have health care and not have to worry about the country imploding every day. But we've seen this movie before. Now, there is a little bit of hope here. As much bad as I just gave you, there is some good. Now, there are progressive groups out there like Our Revolution, Justice Democrats, Brand New Congress, etc. that are actually looking to run real progressives in the primaries with the lead up to 2018. Now, for example, Justice Democrats, they won't run anybody that takes corporate or PAC money, which is actually an incredibly popular position. That's something that I'm definitely in favor of. That actually ensures that a politician actually represents the people and not the giant corporations or donors. Now, imagine having a politician that actually serves you and actually puts forward policies that you care about and actually fights for those policies. That's a radical idea, right? And actually, if you ask Washington, they would agree. Radical idea, right? Now, if you ask the Democrats, oh, are you kidding me? Of course, they'd agree. Oh, you radicals running on populism. We all know populism doesn't work. No, we have to stick to the middle. We have to be in the establishment, which, of course, is not the middle. It's actually the center right. Hey, I have a great idea. Let's run on the same failed strategy as 2016. That's what they'll tell you. But no, that's not the answer, okay? No, the answer is be a populist. Run on progressive ideas. Tell the American people what you're actually going to do for them. Push things like a living wage, which is very popular. Medicare for all, super popular, right? Things like social programs, also incredibly popular. You push for things and you tell people, hey, we're going to actually do something to help you. You know, we're going to help create jobs with infrastructure programs. We're going to do that kind of stuff. We're going to invest in you. We're going to make college affordable. We're going to do that. And if you actually go and explain to the American people that you're actually going to work for them, well, who knows? You might actually win. Democrats, maybe you should try it sometime. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.